Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Donna from Clever Crafting. So today we're going to make what I'm calling a front flip-up card. I don't really know what else I could call it. But anyway, I've started with cutting a piece of patterned paper, you can see there. And I've used the second largest of my metric rectangles. So because it's going on a black A6 card. So these are all in metric. So the A6 card is half of an A4 card folded in half. So cut an A4 in half gives you an A5, fold the A5 in half gives you an A6. And you can see by using the metric rectangle there, it gives us a nice little edge. So I've also used those flowers that I just showed you, and I will have links for them below. And I'm going to put them down in a diagonal on my pattern piece of paper. So we're going to have to cut little slits, but I'm going to show you the best way to work it out. I think this is the easiest way to work it out anyway. So if we start at the bottom and position a flower at the bottom, and then we're going to stack all of the flowers on top of the previous one going in a diagonal direction. So I'm actually not editing any of this. I'm putting the whole lot in. So I'm actually using 8 flowers because this is going to be a birthday card. But if, say, you wanted this to be a Christmas card, you might put 9 flowers in. Or if you wanted it to say something else, you would put, whatever number that you needed. The thing that's important is you need to make sure that they overlap a little bit, because we're going to use, the bottom one to flip all the others up, but you'll see that when the card is nearer completion. So once you've got them all in position, you can grab a pencil, mark the first one, then mark the place of the second one. For me, however, I've actually organized it on the computer and I've created a little template, and I will have a link below in the description box for that template. And this template is for 8. So you'll notice that those lines are longer than a centimeter. They're actually 3 centimeters wide, because the original time I made this, I actually put squares of 3 centimeters in there. But I just want 1 centimeter because I need to put the flowers on a little sort of stick, I guess is the thing to call it. So I'm just marking it at the 1 centimeter mark and the 2 centimeter mark on that line, so I know that's where I need to cut. So it's quite simple then to attach this to the card front, because the template is actually exactly the same size as the card front, which is 14.3 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And I'm just using a bit of washi tape that I've detacked a little bit to hold that in place. Now it's just a matter of getting my mat. So this is one of those self-healing mats. And you just I find it easy to turn it on the side and grab a hold of your metal knife. That's not a knife. Sorry. That's a ruler. Grab a hold of your metal ruler and a sharp knife, and just cut that slit between the 2 marks that you put on that 3 centimeter line. Now, you don't want to go over it, because you want to make sure that you can't see that cut when we put the pieces in. So you want to make sure that it's a centimeter. So we all know that if you're going to put a centimeter piece in a centimeter slit, it won't go in properly, but we are going to make it so it does go properly, and that slit is, covered to make the card all, nice, which is really important. Okay, so now that we've cut all the way down, didn't want to make you watch me do all of that. I'm just removing that top template piece, what I didn't say is when I was cutting is you got to make sure you cut through the whole card. Obviously, you've got to cut through that pattern paper. So the little stems that I'm making for my flowers, I've cut a 1 centimeter strip. Now I just use this die out of the Happy Birthday Greetings stamp and die set, because that is 1 centimeter by 10 centimeters. It doesn't have to be 10 centimeters. It's just a 1 centimeter strip. And I'll need 8 pieces because I've got 8 flowers. So I'm marking everything. I'm scoring it all at 1 centimeter intervals. So and then I'm cutting them at 2 centimeters. So I've got 2 centimeters, a 2 centimeter by 1 centimeter piece with a fold in the middle. So I only needed an extra 3, so I've got 8 of them, and now I'm folding them. Now you really need to make sure that this fold is good, because it's going to be, flipped up and back a lot. So the more reinforced, the better. So I flip it one way, then the other, and then the one way, and then another again. So, okay, so now we are just going to attach those little stems, for want of a better word, onto the flowers. So I've put some glue, you can see, on the back of a couple of those petals. So I can then just attach my little piece which once again is that little 2 centimeter by 1 centimeter folded in half. Now what's really important and what I'm trying to show you there is that you make sure that the petals do not go beyond that fold line, because otherwise the flipping part of it won't work properly. So I'll just keep doing all of these. Once again, won't make you watch it. So before, when we were discussing the putting the 1 centimeter piece in the 1 centimeter slit, well, this is what we'll do to make it fit. We're just cutting it at an angle from the edge to the fold line. And this is the part that we're now going to feed through the holes that we created earlier. So we're slipping that through, and it'll only go in as far as when it becomes 1 centimeter, which should be right at that fold point. So when that happens, you won't be able to see the cut at all, which is fabulous. That's exactly what we want. It's kind of magic. Now, just drop my glue, very important part of the process. And we're just going to put a little bit of glue on the back. You could use sticky tape if you wanted to, fold it down and stick sticky tape over it. It's totally up to you, but I like to use a little bit of wet glue. And that one's now in place. So now I'm going to slip the second one in, and we're going to flip it over and put some glue on that tab, remembering that this is no one's going to see the back, so I was just making sure that that was straight there and in the position that I wanted it. Pop a little bit of glue on that and then press that down again. Of course, we're going to do that exact same process for all 8 flowers, and they will then go down our page. So you can see that like they're all stacking on top of one another. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed, but through this video I've had that little happy birthday on the side there, which is actually a die from, you can see the corner of the die set. And what I've done is I've actually cut it into pieces. Well, I've cut the happy so far, and I've stuck a little bit of glue on the back, and then I've glued it down. So I did the happy on the front of the flowers, and then I'm doing the birthday on the back of the flowers. So I'm just taking a little bit of that glue off, that excess glue off, and I'm going to stick it on. You'll also see here that I have put a little dot on the back of the flowers as well as on the front. So after I stuck the stem on, I stuck the extra little pink, darker pink pieces in the middle. So it looks like a front of the flower from the front and the back. So, all right, so there you can see that completed. So that says birthday down that side. And we'll have a quick look at how this works. So if I push that down, there it says happy, and flip it up and it says birthday. So it's a cute little interactive fun card. So just pop some double-sided tape all around the edges, and I did put double-sided tape just right along that diagonal piece simply because I wanted to act it as a little bit more of a reinforcement for, that section of the card to hold it a bit more secure. Put it into place, and then just removed the release paper from those other sides. And pressing it down, it gives you that nice black edge, and of course I got the black text, so it's all working with one another, which is really important. Just needed a little bit more, so I've grabbed a flower. So I got the same die, and instead of just using the big one, which is what I did for the flaps, I've used the set of 3 and just stacked them on top of one another to give me a flower that doesn't have a lot of dimension, but still a little bit of dimension. And I'm just stuck that onto the front of the card. Now this is a little bit of that pink cardstock I cut the circles for the flowers that flap, and I just used a hole punch and cut a little one to go in the center of this, so it all coordinates together. I did also toy with the thought of putting some of those around on the card as well, but decided nah, it was fine just the way it was. Sometimes I can, overkill them a little bit, so sometimes it's nice just to have a bit more open space. And you can see that lovely pattern paper. Of course, you want a tiny little bit of bling, so you could just put a piece of bling in the center of that card, if you're in the center of that flower, if you wanted to. I, however, am putting some diamond glaze, so that will make it nice and shiny. It looks a little bit milky when you put it on, but then it goes clear and it's lovely. So here it is. Here is the finished one, and it's actually, I think that diamond glaze is looking a bit dry there. So okay, so all you need to do to make it work is push up the bottom, and then the top ones fall down. And well, they don't fall down, they'll actually stand up. So it's kind of like a pop-up card, but it goes totally flat while it's in the in the post, which is great. So that saves heaps on postage, so good job. All right, so here's a couple of other examples that I've got for you to have a look at. They're all the same concept, but just slightly different designs. So just to give you a couple of other ideas, if you could use alphabet letters, or do you know you could use the happy birthday dies like I've done for a couple of them. Anyway, I want to thank you once again for watching me today. I really appreciate the time, and I would love it if you subscribe to my channel or maybe shared it with some friends and gave me a thumbs up. That all helps, of course. If you'd like to see some other examples of this, please feel free to go to our Facebook group. I will put a link to that below. It's the Gold Coast Crafters, and this was done in a class a couple of days ago, so you'll see some examples there. Until I see you next time, stay safe and happy crafting.